I've spent the last 12 years actively trying to figure out how to curb corruption and have spent the last 30 years thinking about it. I wanted to start an NGO to combat corruption, but I realized that I've never done business in Nigeria and I've never been tested in those areas. How could I be sure that it would not succumb to corruption when tested? Thus, my experience in the Nigerian private sector began. I started a manufacturing business, Housessories, to prove that it is possible to do business the right way in Nigeria and succeed. These are my findings so far. I believe my business would have been 10 times larger than it is if I had succumbed to corrupt practices. One of my strategies was to largely keep away from government projects. While we have done a few, we first investigated those agencies to determine if they operated on the basis of a meritocracy. Otherwise, we were not willing to continue with the bid. In the private sector, while we grew our reputation for good work, oftentimes being discovered by a CEO with whom we had no prior relationship, just because he saw our work and liked it. In those cases, they personally ensured that we got the job. However, after the first few projects, once it got turned over to procurement, the bets were off. The procurement team would use our designs, our drawings, and just get someone else to do it, even if we had a lower price. You cannot avoid the menace that is corruption in Nigeria, but you can set up some strategies to cope. I tried different strategies. Early in the business, we bought delivery trucks to deliver our furniture, but I was bombarded daily by calls from my drivers saying they were held up for flimsy reasons by the police. We have a no-bribe policy. So this meant that we were missing our deliveries on a regular basis and bailing drivers from police cells. So we sold the trucks and mitigated the problem by paying external logistics companies. This is a practice we'll maintain till date. For this reason, we cannot engage in importing products as a main business because we all know what happens at the ports. We do import a few components and use an agent operating on a don't ask, don't tell basis. The desire to build a largely successful business that scales quickly and the desire to stay free from corruption in Nigeria appear to be at odds. You can enjoy moderate success from your decisions, but you can enjoy moderate success, but your decisions may not be in the best financial interest of the company as it pertains to doing business in Nigeria. In the business, while we designed many systems and processes, the internal customers, our employees, usually found a way around it. I remember once discovering that my people who bought diesel from a nearby police filling station, whom we operated a tab with, would in the evening just come back and sell the diesel back to the filling station and put the water back in the tank. In another instance, we hired an external security company from a very reputable company at that to ensure that inventory was properly accounted for. And we installed security cameras we could view remotely. You can imagine my shock when I discovered that the security guard was switching off the camera and also opening the doors for wayward staff to work at night. Then a driver would show up with the company vehicle at 6 a.m. in the morning to move out the goods before work would start for the day. You can design the best systems in Nigeria, but you must grapple with the people and their mindset. Why do our people behave this way? Corruption is a contagious disease. Every disease has a root cause or combination of causes, a bacteria, a virus that unleashes symptoms that put together become the disease. As we know, corruption has pervaded every aspect of our society, from the security guard that asks you for bribe to the immigration officer who searches your bag while happily wishing you happy Sunday and asking you to bless them. But what about us? When we pay at the airport to shunt the queues or make an illegal U-turn and then bribe the police when we are caught. This has become the Nigerian way. However, corruption is not peculiar to Nigeria. I was once in traffic when there was extensive work on the Boston Tunnel in the US, and I was shocked to see Americans driving on the side of the road, making illegal lanes, just the way we do in Nigeria, because there was no police around to catch them. Diseases thrive in conditions that are right for them. Therefore, I proffer that one of the root causes of corruption is impunity. Impunity is defined by the Oxford Dictionary as it means exemption from punishment or freedom from the injurious consequences of an action. The way to cure a disease is to change the underlying conditions that cause the disease, making the conditions hostile to the organisms causing the disease. Sometimes you have to surgically excise the abnormality caused by the disease. We must tackle impunity. To continue in my search for a solution for the nation's problems, I decided to enroll in a doctorate program in management, a program of which I am still a student. One of the courses I took, Leading Sustainable Change, introduced me to the intentional change theory promulgated by Dr. Richard Boyadziz. He taught the class himself. And based on the theory and my personal experiences, I have listed some of the root causes of corruption in Nigeria. Number one, lack of a shared vision. When people don't see where they are going, they are not prone to delayed gratification, and they tend to act selfishly to gain instant gratification. They have never seen a system that works and cannot relate. Two, they're not wrong. Because of impunity, they do not see a connection between abstaining from corruption and a positive outcome. In fact, they are reinforced positively when they engage in corrupt practices. Three, corruption is a trap. It breeds fear and leads to more corruption. Once you are bitten by the bug, you can be called upon at any time to compromise more of your values, otherwise you will be exposed. It takes away the might of the mighty. Once you have started, you feel like you have to keep going to cover your indiscretions. I had a fascination for General Ibrahim Babangida. At a young age, I realized that he could find the price for any soul and offer it, resulting in the demise of many reputations. Four, a lack of vigilance and diligence to safeguard systems and processes created. It takes a lot of continuous work to make a system work. You cannot just do it once and relax, admiring the work of your hands. Five, sometimes corruption occurs because of a lack of moral courage, egged on by a false belief that there are only two options. I believe that God makes a way of escape if you hold out and believe, but you have to be willing, like Daniel, to go to the lion's den if he does not. And finally, lack of a cadre of group of leaders that are visionary, sacrificial, just, and have moral authority and credibility. The intentional change theory by Richard Boyadziz identifies 5 essential stages of discovery that lead to a sustained change in an individual or group. Number 1 is a discovery of a shared vision.
Nwamaka, you're gonna have to tighten it so we can move to the next speaker. Just 2 more minutes.
Oh, okay. Discovery of the ideal self and then real self, and discovery of identity and gaps, then plan a learning agenda for the group, and then experiment and practice. The entire process is held together through resonant and nurturing relationships. For change to be sustained, it must be championed by at least 3 levels of the group in question: the political leaders, the community leaders, the diode, and the individuals. That is why the Nigerians believe that one man, President Buhari, could single-handedly change the nation was flawed from the onset. There must be influential proponents of change at multiple levels. What must we do to pull Nigeria from the brink? 1, develop a shared vision of a new Nigeria. This development must be inclusive. We do not need a national conference to do this. This is putting the power for change into the hands of people who do not want change. We do this by identifying the leaders in the different groups and forming a coalition of the willing. What are our areas of commonality? We must amplify the message of the new Nigeria. How do we do it? The media is powerful. We must use popular culture to influence change and build hope in the shared vision. Engage the leaders in the media and pop culture to lead with the same message of a new Nigeria made up of new Nigerians. What are the characteristics of a new Nigeria? If you doubt the power of the media to influence an entire nation, then look at the frenzy around Big Brother. The reward received at the end creates more believers who hope for a new lifestyle. Many of us here subscribe to religions that believe in the afterlife. So we bet our hopes in a life or for a world that we have never seen. Or what about the people who have braved dangers to cross borders through land and sea, fueled by hope and vision of a life for a country they've never seen? Their zeal is powered by images of a lifestyle seared into the hearts from movies and videos on the internet. Hope indeed is a powerful motivator. 3, do the right thing. Obey the just laws of the land. And if you unwittingly transgress, pay the appropriate penalty. Don't bribe your way around it. 4, impose consequences and punishment on people who transgress in spheres where you have influence, whether it is at work, at home, anywhere. The book of Proverbs in the Bible says, where justice is not speedily executed, sin is set in. While we should be merciful and kind as individuals, understand by not imposing the consequences of people's actions on them, you do them a greater harm than good. If a child steals and you do not punish him or her, that child may end up in jail much later in life because they never associated the behavior with inconvenient consequences. Man, perhaps you lack the courage to stand out alone for a change, but whenever you see someone stand up for justice, stand with them. When they stand alone, they may be mistaken for a mad person, but when you join them, you strengthen their resolve and give legitimacy to the cause. Because you are two, others may join. Seek out the company of like-minded people who believe in the shared vision. 6, we must shun the victim mentality. Collectively, we are powerful, but little pockets here and there will not work. The little waves will not eventually make a difference. There must be a coalition and subsequent amplification until we hit resonance. Corrupt people are in power because we let them remain in power. Number 7, we must engage in systemic leadership development. There must be a bench of leaders willing to pass the baton through a few cycles before we can say we have a system that works. From childhood to different leadership institutes that reorient and program aspiring leaders. 8, be kind and just. People are hurting and angry that you have more than they do. Love and genuine kindness can melt stony hearts. Number 9, we must get involved in politics. We have people like Dr. Ezekwesili sticking out their necks the best way they know how, and we watch them as though they're engaged in spectators. Join a party, form a party, contribute to existing parties, volunteer your time and skills, run for office, contribute to worthy candidates so they're not tempted to collect money from unscrupulous money bags. They have to get the money from somewhere or operate inefficiently. 10, be in it for the long haul. Don't give up just because of some setbacks. Nigeria is our home and we must build a home worth fighting for. Although it's tough and it will cost a lot to go against the grain, the system will not change until you and I, one by one, join forces to keep pushing to turn the direction of this nation away from the brink. It's like trying to change the direction of a gear already moving in opposite direction. You need a constant, greater force to combat inertia. And the cost of doing nothing is now too high. We are on the precipice and there must be a sense of urgency. I will end with a poem I wrote on the 4th of June after I heard the news of little children as young as 3 years old kidnapped in Niger State. It is called Silent. For how long will you be silent while our brothers are slaughtered like livestock on a chopping block and our sisters seized like contraband goods and consumed by vagabonds, while our homes are razed to ashes, consumed by amber flames lit by hate? Our mothers cry and watch their son hacked to pieces by machetes wielded by feral beasts. They are wailing, drowned out all by the melodious retinue of music, by your rockers' carefree laughter as you glitter and preen in raves all night, drunk on power, dressed in finery, dulled by indifference. Our blood flows into the sparkling glass of nectar you down with abandon, surrounded by bars to keep them out. But fear is an insidious spirit, swelling through into your heart, surrounded by men who guard you, arms in hand and disdain in their hearts. I ask, for how long will you be silent? As the wolves circle, the noose is tightening and the clock is ticking. My sister is yours, and to them we are faceless. We are one, and you are next. Wake up. Thank you.